CCC family, it's Dawn Marie with Custom Comfy Crochet, and yay, today is November 1st and it is our first Christmas tutorial. It's my favorite holiday, so I'm excited about it. And we are going to make some gnomes, and these are super easy to make. You don't even need to know how to crochet to make these. Great fun, easy materials. So, by the way, let's get into those materials. But first, I want to ask you to please like, share, subscribe, hit that notify me bell below so that you can get notified about all my future videos. And please share these videos. If you enjoy my videos, share them to your friends, your family, your crochet groups, Instagram, Facebook. That helps more than anything, and I appreciate it so much when you do that. Just takes a little time to do those things, but it means more than you'll ever know for YouTube creators, okay? So let's get into the materials. So if you're a crocheter, a lot of this stuff that I'm going to say you're already going to have on hand. There may be a few things that you need to get, but none of it's super expensive, and all of it is pretty easy to come by. Okay, now for the noses, I am using jute twine, and I am basically just going to be wrapping it up in a little ball and swirling it around. So you could also use brown yarn, and you could use a button. You could use all kinds of things for the nose. It doesn't have to be this, but of course I'm going to tell you exactly what I used. I also used the jute twine for the ornament topping so that you can, you know, hang these, your ornament hanger there. So I use that for that. You're going to need a toilet paper roll, okay? That's how I'm going to make these little hats. You've probably seen them floating around, but I'm going to show you how to do them. You're just going to cut a piece off the toilet paper roll. You could also use a paper towel roll or anything like that, cardboard, whatever you've got handy, okay? You're also going to need some cotton balls. These cotton balls go up inside of this and make them more sturdy, the hats, to glue them on. You don't have to do that. You could also use yarn. You could use other things to put in there, but I'm going to use cotton balls. You could also use stuffing if you have stuffing. Okay, I'm obviously using red and white yarn as well. They're just Super Saver Red Heart yarns. And I am using, for this one, I use jute twine to make the topper, but it's basically the same, okay? You're also going to need a darning needle or a big needle if you have one, anything that's big, and you're also going to need a pair of scissors. And the final thing you're going to need is a glue gun. If you don't have a glue gun, you could also use fabric glue or any kind of glue that you've got that can adhere to fabric or yarns. You can use that as well. Okay, so let's get into this fun tutorial. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make the little hat that goes on top of the gnome. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, about an inch wide, these are for the hat. So I'm just going to start right there and I'm going to cut just like this. Okay, and that's what I'm going to use to make the hat, just like that. Then I'm going to take some red yarn, and about a foot, I'd say. I'm going to make a bunch of these. So I'm going to cut about a foot, and I'm just going to keep cutting that until I get about 20 or so. And then if I need more, I can cut more, okay? And these are what we're going to wrap around that this piece right here to make our hat. So what you're going to do is you're going to take one piece, okay, and you're going to hold your piece like this, your piece of cardboard, and you're going to put the loop through under. You're going to hold this open and pull these two loops through, just like this. Okay, and then you can push them together. And then you're going to grab another one, fold it in half, go through the middle, open this up, and then pull through. And you can just smush them together as you go. And then get another one, make sure it's in half. I must have forgot to cut that one, it's way too long. And then pull through. Just like this. And you're just going to keep doing this all the way around. This is really fun to do if you're watching TV or doing something. You're just going to keep pushing these all the way around as you go until they fill up the entire thing and you get to the other side. And just like I said, keep pushing them together so that they stay close so you can't see any of the cardboard through the middle, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and finish mine and you finish yours, and we'll meet back up in just a minute. Okay, so we've gone all around our entire piece of cardboard there to make our hat, and we've got all this left over. I'm going to go ahead and cut some of it off because I just don't want to have to pull it all through. So I'm just going to cut, like I said, some of it off, and we're going to cut off more, okay? But now what I want to do is I want to push all this back through this way, okay? So I'm just going to take my fingers and I'm going to push it all the way back through, just like that. And then you can shake it if you want. That might help get it through, just like that. And then just keep pressing your fingers in. As you can see, it's all back through the other way. And then you can take your fingers like this and kind of try to get it straightened out. Just want to make sure it's all pulled through, all the pieces, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to take another piece of red yarn and just lay it flat like that. Put this over it. And you're going to go up about, this depends on how you want yours as well, but I'm going to go up to about right here, just like this, okay? And I'm going to do a knot about 3 times. I want to make sure this doesn't come undone, okay? And then you can just let that go back up to the top like that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these cotton balls and I'm going to stuff the inside of this. And that's going to make it look fuller. And it's also going to be easier to glue down when I go to make it, okay? So then what I'm going to do, just for an added little bit here, is then I'm going to take a little bit of my hot glue and I'm going to glue a couple of these in just like this. Just want to make sure they do not come undone or out, just like that, okay? And if you see any of the white up here at the top, just simply move your yarn over and it should cover it, okay? So we're almost done with our hat. So now what we're going to do is we're going to trim the top. We want to make sure that it's trimmed down quite a bit. So we're just going to trim this all the way down. Just like that. And just like when you're making a puff, you might want to go around just to make sure that you get it all even. And I just like to shake it, make sure I get everything off, and fluff the top. And look at that, you have a gorgeous little hat already ready. And that right there is just going to fit on top of our gnome. So, and now it's nice and full and it looks really cute. Now this alone can be an ornament as well, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this out of the way and I'm going to show you how to go ahead. What I like to do is go ahead and get this totally ready as an ornament before I go on and do the gnome body portion of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of this jute twine and I'm going to cut off about 1 foot long. I'm going to put it onto my darning needle, okay, just like that. And I'm going to go up the side here in between the cotton balls and the side of the hat. And I'm going to go up through the middle of the hat, just like this. Okay. And as you can see, there's still a little piece down here. So then I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to go right down the middle again, out the side. I don't want to push my cotton balls out if I can help it. Just like that. Okay, but when I pull out, I'm going to hold this gently because I don't want it all to come back in. I want some of it to stay up. So I've got that piece out. So I'm going to pull this up just like that. So there was enough space there to hang it. And then I'm going to tie this off that's left over into a knot, and we're going to stuff it back up inside of the hat. Okay, but remember, be gentle because you don't want it to come back undone on you. So I'm just going to tie it twice. In a knot. Like that. Then I'm going to take a little bit of hot glue. Again, now if you're making this for yourself, you could cut that off if you wanted to, but if you're making these to sell or to give to others, you want to make sure that it never comes undone. So this is just an extra precautionary thing I'm doing. So I'm putting the hot glue there, and then I'm pressing this against it and pushing this on the inside of the little beanie there, okay? And then voila, you have your topper on there, just like that. So now let's get on to the body portion of this. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your white yarn and you're going to use your hand. You don't need anything else besides your hand. You could use a small notebook if you wanted, or I think some people use a credit card. This is going to determine how big your gnome is going to be. So what I like to do is I hold this piece right here between my pinky and my ring finger, and then I take the yarn and I spread my hands out like this, and then I wrap, and I'm going to wrap 85 times. Okay, so we've wrapped this 85 times around my hand, and now I can just take it off, just like that. And I'm going to leave that right there. And now I'm going to cut a long piece of the white yarn, okay? Actually, I'm going to cut 3 of them. About, I'd say do about 2 feet, 1.5 to 2 feet long. Do 3 of those to go around this. So I'm going to set this on top, this on the bottom. And I'm going to tie it right down the middle. So this would just be like making a puff there. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to tie that in a knot, just like that. Then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to tie it in a knot going this way. Just want to make sure it never comes undone. Okay, just like this. And now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut the ends. And then you can shake it out, okay? And then what you're going to do is you want to look at your puff, okay? So this you would have been holding this like this. And so this would have been hanging down like this, like that, okay? So you just want to take that and lay it down, okay? Because you're going to use the way this falls as a way to make this look like a gnome, okay? So you don't need to really keep these out anymore. You can put those in with your yarn. But the main thing that you're going to do is we want to make a visible mustache for these, okay? So, and you might have still a couple pieces hanging on there. So you can see that it's going down and over like this, kind of naturally. And then, of course, I'm helping it do so with my hands. And then we've got the back and it's laying down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make these mustaches more visible. So I'm going to take a small portion of this over here, and I'm going to go ahead and cut these off because they're getting in the way. Make more similar. Okay, so I'm just going to take a small portion of what you see going on over here, this little yarn going this way. I'm just going to take a small bit of it, and I'm going to put this long piece under it to make a mustache. So I'm just going to lay that under there, and I'm going to tie this off as close as to the end I can get without pulling out any yarn, okay? So I'm going to go all the way down there, and I'm going to tie that into a knot. I'm going to do that twice, just like that. And then what you can do is you can pull this so you don't see the knot to the back, okay? So I'm pulling this to around to the back, and then I'm going to pull it out like that, okay? And then I'm going to do the same way to the other side. So right now it kind of looks like a hot mess, but it's going to look really good when we're done. And again, I'm going to take a bunch from over here. I'm going to go under that bunch with this piece of yarn. Okay. And then I'm going to go, as close to the end as I can get. Just like that. And then make another knot. And then we're going to move this towards the back. Just like that. Okay. And as you can see now, you can see a visible mustache right there. Okay. Now we're not going to trim any of this yet, but we are going to trim these long pieces that are kind of getting in our way when we went to make those mustaches. And now we're going to go ahead and make our nose. Okay. So I'm going to show you how I did that. Now, again, you can do this any way you want. You can use buttons and different things, whatever you want to use. I'm just going to show you how I did it with the jute twine. So I'm going to make 4 knots, or 5, excuse me, 5 knots with the jute twine. So they're just going to kind of stack on top of each other, these knots. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Just like that. Then I'm going to take my hot glue gun and I'm going to glue that little piece down that's hanging now. So I'm going to take this, and this gets a little fiddly, but it's still doable. So you're just going to take your hot glue gun on one side here, do a little dot, and then you're going to press the jute twine down, okay, just like that. And then you're going to cut the little bit of extra that you have off, okay? And then what you're going to do, once that dries off, is you're going to start wrapping around this to make the nose. So you're simply going to wrap around this piece right here, going all the way down, just like this. Okay? And you're going to wrap it twice. So then I'm going to come back this way, okay? And then I'm going to cut off, leaving a long enough piece because I'm going to glue it to the back here. Okay? Ah, it came undone. So I'm going to go back around. And then you're going to glue a little bit right there just to make sure it doesn't come undone. So just hold that there. And then you're going to cut off again. So I'm going to put that to the side and I'm going to let it be drying. That's our little nose. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to glue this right on, just like this, to our project here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue gun and I'm going to go all around the edges with this. And then I'm going to put some in the middle. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to sit it right on top of that mustache, just like that. So some of it is hitting the back, as you can see, and some of it is hitting the front. But all of that glue is going down into that yarn, all right? Just like that. So we're going to let that sit for a minute. And then we're going to get our nose here. And I'm going to take my glue gun right here where that little hole is created from where we made the mustache and the hat. And we're going to put some glue right down in the middle there, okay? And I'm not going skimpy on the glue. I'm going to put quite a bit there. Like I said, I don't want this to come undone. And then I'm going to place this right there in the middle, just like that, okay? And look at that. Isn't that so cute? So now all we need to do is trim up the sides. Uh-oh, it's coming up a little bit. It's not done drying. Okay, so just gonna let that sit for a minute. Okay, and so now what you're gonna do, now that everything's good and dry and you can handle it, you're just gonna go around and you're just gonna cut a little bit. Now this is where you're going to make this your own. You can go around, you can leave it scraggly if you want, you can make them longer, you can make them bigger. If you went around your hands more than 85 times, it would be much bigger. If you went around something larger than your hand, it would be longer. So those are all things to think about. You could also make this a full-on poof here on the bottom. You know, there's just so many things you could do to make this your own little project. And you can put all kinds of little things on here. You know, little craft store things, little buttons. You could put stuff on the hat to decorate it. You could even put a name on the hat. So those are all great ideas. So I would just go around and cut this till I got it exactly the way I wanted it. And then of course, don't forget your back here. And isn't that the cutest thing ever? These are so fun to make. It's also nice if you're a crocheter, and most of the people who watch my channel are crocheters. It's kind of nice sometimes to do something that doesn't require crochet. You're still using your talents by using yarn, of course, but and all the little things that we're using, but it is fun to just do something different sometimes. So there we go, guys. I would love to see your finished gnomes. So please feel free to share them. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I have a Gmail, and of course right here on YouTube. But if you want to share a picture of your finished gnomes, you can do that on Instagram and Facebook. And with your permission, I love to share your work. So I love to see that, and I hope you do this and you enjoy it and you're excited as I am about the holidays. So happy crocheting, guys. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.